Mother Nature can be extremely unpredictable and is always full of surprises. That's why today we've gathered a collection of the most mind-blowing weather phenomena so you can be prepared for whatever the elements have in store for you. Oh, you thought I was joking about the mind-blowing part. Yeah, I wasn't joking. This restaurant deserves at least 1 star, Magellan, for not being swept away by that wind. When you live next to a mountain, you have to be prepared for a landslide to turn your house into a cave at any moment. Fortunately, this time there was no one. Imagine how much rain has to fall all night for the trash to take itself out in the morning. That's why it's better to pay $300 to a professional to cut down an old tree in front of your house instead of waiting for a storm to do it for free. This river overflowed to such an extent that it started carrying away entire houses. Fortunately, there were no casualties to regret. Do you still think there's nothing worse than a tornado? What do you think about a fire tornado? The firefighters take care of that. Storms don't care how long a tree has been standing or how deep its roots are. They knock it down like it's nothing. If a flood takes your house, don't worry. You might find it almost intact downstream, as long as there are no bridges along the way. Imagine getting fired for not checking the weather forecast. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, here the event organizer isn't laughing. If you ever forget that nature can do incredible things, take a look at this waterfall that appears just a few hours after the torrential rains begin. When the Florida wind gets to work, portable toilets become, well, more portable. Nature couldn't care less about the roads the restless ones build. If they have other plans for the area, everyone move. People usually classify hurricanes by wind speed, but this guy bases it on how many vending machines are flying around. No, this is not Venice. It's not even a riverside city, but just a regular neighborhood that had the misfortune of experiencing a major river overflow due to heavy rain. Imagine how strong the wind must be to do this to your balcony. Excuse me, could you point me to the body soap aisle? Sure, it's floating between aisles 2 and 3.
Video.
This slope is probably the worst place to watch an avalanche, but also the most spectacular. The bad news is locals won't drive on this road for a while. The good news is at least no one was hurt and everyone still has gained. Unfortunately for these guys, scooters don't turn into hydro scooters when hit by a flood. No, this woman didn't drive into a river. The river formed around her car after just 20 minutes of torrential rain. Did someone forget to turn off the faucet in the mountains? No. This is what happens when you live near a mountain range during an extra rainy wet season. Only Mother Nature can cook fish directly from the river without even taking it out of the water. This landslide of several tons occurred near a mine crowded with people, but miraculously, it didn't injure anyone. This is exactly what my mother used to say would happen if I ever left the faucet running as a child. Fortunately, no one was hurt. What could be scarier than a dozen rocks speeding down a mountain? Maybe how calm the person filming it is. The residents of this apartment building never thought they would live in a water park until a rainy day. The chances of a rock slide occurring directly above you are slim, but as you can see, they are definitely not zero. Although Mother Nature scheduled a flood, this woman still had many chores to do at home. Trees are super important for holding the soil on slopes, but sometimes even they can't withstand the amount of rain that falls in a single day. If you like cars, you might want to look away now, because floods don't care how much your car costs or if it's insured. The upside is that tomorrow there will be fewer traffic jams. Here are the consequences of the expansion of a mountain river after the heaviest rains in recent years. Fortunately, no one was injured. Despite the floods, the vendors still hope that some customer will float by. A tornado of this size is basically a huge vacuum cleaner, and these people were lucky to be out of its path. This river overflowed so much that it started knocking down trees with alarming ease. Let's be honest, lightning makes even the most beautiful scene even more impressive. These people had no choice but to take refuge on the roofs of their flooded homes. Although they couldn't save their belongings, at least everyone got out safe and sound. When people don't prune their trees, there's a high likelihood they'll leave the whole neighborhood without electricity. Due to the sudden floods, the streets of this city turned into raging mountain rivers, forcing the evacuation of entire neighborhoods. When these guys started building the roof of their garage, they had no idea that the wind would test its strength, right in the middle of the construction. If you're climbing a volcano and it decides to erupt in a terrifying yet beautiful way while you're there, run out and buy a lottery ticket. Tornadoes of this size are basically unstoppable, so if you see one that isn't moving, like in this video, you'd better run because it's coming straight at you. This guy didn't know it at the time, but the price of underestimating a flood is spending a few hours sitting on a branch waiting for rescuers to arrive. You know you're lucky when you manage to capture a one-in-a-million natural event like this. I'm glad everyone kept their distance and no one was hurt. This flood literally carved its way through solid rock. Now imagine what would happen if it hit a house located 2 meters beyond. This guy must have spent his whole life preparing his scooter for a weather apocalypse. If not, how could he keep moving? The next time you're annoyed that the rain ruins your morning commute, remember that someone woke up to this on the other side of their window. It's always fun to see a mini tornado that causes no harm, just entertains the local cows. What if I told you that this floating factory is drifting without a captain? And all because he couldn't withstand the sudden rise in the local river's water level. Don't worry, there was no one on board. When your roof needs to be replaced so obviously that even the wind decides to help get things started. You're still not sure how floods cause so much damage to cities. Watch how easily it carries away a multi-ton rock. Living near the ocean has a dark side, but we only think about the sunny one. Here's a quick life hack. If everyone looks like they've just stumbled out of Oktoberfest, this earthquake was at least a 7. Fortunately, there was no one in the damaged buildings. I hope you're not tired of seeing Mother Nature destroy bridges, because builders worldwide are definitely fed up. Waking up to this might make you think you've landed in Mordor. And you wouldn't be far off. Wildfires and storms rarely occur together. I suppose Godzilla now officially lives in Vietnam. Otherwise, how do you explain a landslide of this magnitude? When an unstoppable flood starts sweeping away houses and cars as if they were toys, the only thing you can do is cross your fingers and hope no one is inside. It only took a few hours for this powerful current to erode the coast so much that the houses began to disappear one by one. Fortunately, they had already been evacuated. You've seen many avalanches, but have you ever witnessed the eerie aftermath of snowfall? During the heavy rains in the city, the streets become home to some very strange rainworms. You may have seen many tornadoes, but have you ever seen one form in the middle of a city street? I know you haven't. It seems that the municipal workers haven't cleaned the drains in this market for a long time, so today the rain is doing it for them. Hail always catches people off guard, but these guys had double bad luck. It caught them in the middle of the ocean. Luckily, their boats had roofs. There wasn't a single tree on this hillside strong enough to withstand the devastating power of this flood. If you've never experienced a hurricane and think it's just a bunch of wind, take a look at what this storm did to someone's roof. The owners of this dog can consider themselves lucky. Their house survived the flood, but it looks like they're going to need something stronger than a hairdryer to dry all their stuff. These climbers can consider themselves lucky. Not only did they get some amazing views, but they also witnessed an impressive avalanche. It was the heaviest rain Manila had seen in years, turning the streets into rivers and lakes in just a few hours. During a flood, staying calm is important, but staying above water, like this camera did, is even more crucial. There's nothing to see here, just a river with a mind of its own, suggesting a stronger and higher bridge might be a good idea. Today is your lucky day because witnessing an eruption like this is super rare. Dormant volcanoes can sleep for thousands of years. This strange phenomenon is called a waterspout, and you have to admit it looks quite extraterrestrial. Let's hope that the next time this woman sees a huge puddle, she doesn't try to test her skills. But don't worry, she's fine and didn't seem too upset. This is one of those moments when you look outside, see the wind there. This isn't so bad. Then you see this and realize that today you're staying home. These rare scenes of flooding show how defenseless people are against natural disasters. But don't worry, no one was in those cars. It's hard to believe that this river was a road with cars and intersections just 6 hours ago. Seeing a waterspout in a city's harbor is quite rare, but watching it disappear before your eyes is one in a million. It seems that too many children in the area wished for snow at Christmas, because now their parents can't even find their cars under 5 feet of snow. If this camera has seen our Mother Nature videos before, it knows that something frightfully beautiful is on the way. If I ask you to guess on which continent this video was filmed, Africa would probably be your last choice. Nature sure knows how to surprise, doesn't it? It had been years since hurricane winds hit Taiwan with such force. Just look at what a wind of 17 miles per second does to palm trees. If you see storm clouds like these at the beach, you can bet your swimming time is over. You're about to witness an epic storm. In this bus, tickets are not checked. Instead, they make sure you're wearing rubber boots. They say water doesn't burn, but that rule doesn't apply in this desert with its gas springs. If you've never been to Yellowstone National Park, you should go, if only to see its amazing geysers. Yes, I know you've probably seen hundreds of rainbows, but why not take some time to admire a double one right now? Watching avalanches is exciting, unless you're doing it from a tent set up right in their path. It's a miracle that this one stopped and no one was hurt. I hope lightning strikes twice in the same place, because I would love to see this beautiful spectacle again. In the mountains, you have to be prepared for anything, but only luck can save you from landslides like this one. This terrifying moment of this year's Vietnam flood makes you wonder what it feels like to realize that nothing can stop the power of nature. Look at this massive storm that literally turned day into night. The inhabitants of Venice have gotten used to their morning coffees looking like this every few months. That's why you should always stay far from buildings during an earthquake. Fortunately, no one was injured. There comes a day in all coastal cities when people don't look for their car keys in the morning, but rather their shovel. Remember that landslides can occur even on clear days, so if you're in an area prone to them, always stay alert to avoid disasters. Do you know what these people didn't expect? That something would happen just a few meters away from them. A heavy rain turned this store into a mini apocalypse, leaving the vendors acting as fishermen while they tried to salvage any rescued merchandise. Have you ever wondered where all that water goes after a flood? Two natural drains like this one, believe me, you won't want to get close enough to find out. If you see small rocks falling from a cliff, run as fast as you can because you know what's coming next. The outcome of this match no longer matters. Something much more interesting has just appeared on the horizon. When hail the size of hen's eggs falls from the sky, you don't think about repairing the car. You're glad you found a place to hide. It's hard to say what this guy wanted to show us. But one thing is for sure, he did well to press the gruffer button. It turns out the most epic moment of a drifting night wasn't the drifting at all. Never underestimate the true power of nature. Not even solid concrete and steel structures can withstand the force of an earthquake. Someone is creating a crack in that tower over there. I used to be afraid of earthquakes, but after this video, now I'm afraid of being inside a skyscraper during one. Check out the terrifying power of hail and the destruction it leaves behind. Take a look at the king of landslides. It's hard to imagine what it feels like to see Tototiro rushing downhill. Check out this impressive avalanche captured by a camera. Advice: run as fast as you can if you ever see this in person. A sudden flood turned this city into the perfect setting for a disaster movie. The good news, thanks to the rescuers, no one was injured. I can't believe this driver decided to challenge nature after all. Fortunately, he came out unscathed. Don't rush. This is not just another rainbow. Go closer. These guys have found where it stops. Seeing a volcanic eruption is quite rare, but witnessing this type of eruption is truly a one-in-a-million chance. Someone still wants their dream house by the sea. It's chilling to see how this flood destroys everything in its path, even multi-ton trucks. Fortunately, no one was injured. Today, have you seen big and small tornadoes? But have you ever seen a tiny one turn into a huge one in a matter of seconds? This flood was literally about to destroy this house, starting with the entrance. Luckily, the owners were not in it. Sometimes the only thing you can do is sit and accept what nature has in store for you. It is terrifying to imagine what these people felt when they saw their homes destroyed by a landslide from a safe distance. If you think wind is the only way weather can interfere with golf, think again. Well, that's all for today. Don't forget to tell us in the comments about the incredible weather phenomena you've seen in your life. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. See you!